Hello everyone. It's been a while since I've done a speaking video, at least 2 weeks, and I missed talking to you guys. So for today's video I thought I would do some page turning, and what better book to do that with than this new cookbook that I got. It is a cookbook focusing on Korean food, real Korean cooking. And this is by a lady called Maangchi. I'm probably not pronouncing that right. She has a YouTube channel in which she shows people how to cook Korean food. And it's a channel that I followed for many years. Thoroughly enjoyed it because if you know anything about this channel, you know that I like food. So about 2 months ago, I actually ordered this cookbook because I wanted to experiment and learn how to cook Korean food. And specifically, one type of Korean food to start with. And we'll get to that when we come to it. So, the thing that I really like about her channel is that she explains everything very well. She actually creates her videos in such a way that you could actually recreate the food. And she speaks about it with a great deal of passion and love. And that shows through in her channel. So, I got this book and was not disappointed. It has great photography in it. I don't know enough about Korean food to really be able to look at something and kind of understand its flavor like I would with American food. But it certainly looks delicious. And I like foods that are kind of strong and pungent and spicy. So I think I'm going to enjoy working my way through this cookbook. One of the immediate upsides of getting this book was that it prompted me to go seek out my local supermarket that carried items from China, Japan, Korea, Taiwan, all those different countries. And it turned out we have quite a large one here in the city where I live. So, for my first foray into making food, I was able to find all of the ingredients that I needed, which was good. So the beginning of this book starts with an introduction to Maangchi herself. And she says it means hammer in Korean, a cool name for a tough girl. So it kind of gives her history and background and how she became a cook on YouTube. And then it starts out with the introduction to the Korean meal. Obviously starting with rice, kimchi, banchan, and then talking about kind of the philosophy behind the balance of a Korean meal, which is kind of neat. Yin and yang, harmony and balance, and the influence of the weather and seasons on Korean food. And I'm not going to attempt to pronounce any of the Korean words. I do not know enough about Korean to even attempt, and I know I will just make a horrible mess of it. So if it gives a English description of what it is, I'll be comfortable with that. But the other very important piece that I like about this book is it goes through and explains all of the main ingredients that are used in Korean food and tells you the English word for it, and it gives you kind of a pronunciation guide for saying it in Korean. And it also gives you what the packages look like, or what the vegetable or root looks like, so that when you go into a store, you have some sort of knowledge, which is awesome and was incredibly helpful for me. I was looking for the ingredients to make kimchi, and so one of the ingredients was Asian chives, which are different from just regular chives that we may think of from the store. What else was there? I saw these. I didn't need any, but I remember seeing those at the store. Nothing here yet, but I saw seaweed paper, of course, dried seaweed. I saw dried whole squids. I didn't need those, but I'm just looking and seeing what I remember. I saw this fermented soybean paste. Here we go. Fish sauce was something that I needed for my kimchi. And they actually had this exact brand, which apparently is very popular. So now I have a very large bottle of fish sauce, because it didn't take very much of it to make the kimchi. But I'll be looking forward to other things I can use it in. Fish sauce has a really nice umami smell and flavor to it. Definitely a fish-like flavor, but it's not like spoiled fish. It's like an oily fish. Let's see. Glutinous rice, flour. I had to have some of that, and they again had this exact brand. So that was nice. I was very comfortable going in, seeing it, purchasing it, knowing exactly what I needed. The other large ingredient was these Korean hot pepper flakes. And they did not have this exact brand, but I was able to I was able to look and match the Korean writing that was here on this package. And they had several different brands of hot pepper flakes. And even though it wasn't this exact brand, I knew I was getting hot pepper flakes because I could match up these characters. So, not exactly reading, but identifying shapes. This is also another big ingredient, hot pepper paste. I didn't have to have it for the kimchi, but they had lots of that there as well. Korean radish, which I needed. They had a lot of that, also known as daikon. Those are delicious too. I've had a vegetable called a watermelon radish, and these are like larger versions of those, but they're white. Watermelon radishes are red and pink in the middle. Let's see. I didn't need any lotus root. Didn't need any noodles. They had lots of tofu. They had this brand of salted fermented shrimp, which I imagine is a very strong, pungent flavor, but I did not need that. Although I know you can put shrimp in kimchi. Let's see. No tofu. Let's see. No charcoal. Pickled radish. Nope. The other main ingredient, I don't know that it's in here, was a type of lettuce, or cabbage, I mean, called Napa cabbage. And they don't have a picture of it here. But they'll have a picture of it later on when you get to the kimchi section. So then it goes through some tools and utensils that you will need to cook Korean food. Containers for fermentation, very important. I was able to use a large crock that we had from my father-in-law, and he used it to make sauerkraut in. So it didn't look like this, but it was similar in a large earthenware pot. I had to improvise a lid for it, but it worked quite well. So we start out with, of course, rice. And she goes through and talks about fluffy white rice, toasted rice, nice pictures of the different types of rice you may see in the store. And then we start making some dishes. That looked delicious. It's bean sprouts and rice, and looks like some pork. And, oh no, this is steak. And then egg on the top. That looks great. Korean style curry rice. That looks really good. Seaweed rice rolls. So kind of like a sushi, but with carrots and some other vegetables, and looks like 2 different types of rice. And then this is kind of a general different types of ingredients all in one bowl. And all the instructions on how to make it. Then we had the noodles, rice cake soup, and porridge. I think I'm going to enjoy making some of these in the wintertime. Some nice soups. Maybe not cold noodle soup. That'll be more of a summer dish. Cold, spicy, chewy noodles. That might be a little tough for me to get around. Cold and chewy. Noodles with black bean paste. Basic noodle soup with anchovy broth. That sounds really good. Hand-torn noodle soup. Looks like it has some of those radishes. Spicy seafood noodle soup. That looks good. I like that deep, rich red color. Knife cut noodles with clams. That looks kind of involved. I don't know that I'll make my own noodles. Maybe someday. Sesame seed porridge. That also sounds good. I swear I'm not hungry. I just ate supper, so when I say it looks good, it's not just because I'm hungry. Shrimp porridge. Winter squash porridge with rice cake balls. And then we have soups and stews outright. It looks very hearty. Lots of eggs involved in the cooking, put on top. Saw some of these in the store. These are little anchovies. And on her YouTube channel, she showed how to prepare them for making different dishes. Seaweed soup, spicy soft tofu soup, soybean sprout soup, extra strong fermented soybean paste stew. That sounds like I may run everybody else out of the house if I tried to make that. This is a nice seafood. You can see some shrimp or prawns in there, some mussels and clams, and looks like some crab legs. Seafood stew. Spicy pollock roe stew. Saw some of those there in the store. So hopefully someday I'll get to try some of these soups and stews. But here is the main reason I bought this book, and that is to learn how to make kimchi. And this is the kimchi that I made. And it is really good. And I'm sure I'm just getting started. So, and this is the kimchi that I made. It was has this bright red color with these chives, and lots of red pepper paste. The sesame seeds go on later. They don't go in the actual kimchi, but it is really good. I had some for lunch today. So this talks about how the basics of kimchi work. And this is the Napa cabbage. I'm sure you've probably seen it in the store. And I followed these directions on how to make it. And I was not able to chop up my vegetables quite that fine. I'm not that good yet. But this is what it turns out. It's these whole or half of a head of this lettuce. And you basically just stuff the spices inside of all of the leaves. And then you put it down inside of a crock. And you cover it so air can't get to it. And let it sit out. I let mine sit out for about 3.5 days. And as long as you don't let air get to it, it will ferment and grow the correct type of bacteria to help pickle it, basically. Then after those 3 days, I took it out, put it into some jars, and put it in the refrigerator, where it will continue to ferment, but it'll just be at a slower pace. So I did that about 3 weeks ago, and I let the jars sit in the refrigerator for a week. Then I opened one up and ate on it. It's very good. Then the next week I opened up another one and it was even better. So I have 2 more jars left. I've given 2 away to some of my friends who love kimchi. I'm waiting to hear back on how they thought it was as far as flavor. I think it's good, but then I'm biased because I made it. I know there's definitely room for improvement. So I've been eating the kimchi for my lunch this week with some toasted sesame seeds and some dried seaweed. And it's low calorie, which is helping me lose weight. And it is spicy, and it is tangy, and it is crunchy. And so it is a really good food to eat from a sensory standpoint as well. It had some of the fish sauce in it, but it has like just the right amount. It is not a heavy fishy flavor. It's just a kind of accent note flavor with it. I think I could actually probably use a little bit more. So I basically followed the recipe in this book, and I found it to be quite successful. In fact, I'm actually going to buy a crock that has a proper lid on it so that I can do a better job of fermenting my kimchi. And here's another type of kimchi with cucumbers stuffed with the spice. And that looks really interesting as well. Again, there's very little calories in this. So it is a nice food for being on a diet without having to be bland and boring. Vegetable and fruit water kimchi. This looks really interesting as well. It looks like it's refreshing. I haven't really read about it, but it looks like it's something you would serve cold and in the summertime. I think with the fruit and stuff like that. I remember when I was growing up, my mom would take cucumbers and slice them with some white onion and put it in a vinegar bath. And it was crisp and refreshing and cold in the summertime. It was awesome. Same with this. Some pickled radish. Looks beautiful. So then we get into side dishes. Side dishes are very important in Korean food. You rarely just serve one bowl of something. There's usually a variety of different side dishes for different flavors that you set out with a meal. So these are some things made from seaweed, cucumbers, spinach, eggplant, peppers, lotus root. This looks really interesting. It's a very strange looking root. All of the holes looks kind of like wagon wheels. But I don't know what it tastes like. Here it says it's a cross between a radish and a cooked potato, so probably not very strong. I love the colors in that. You don't often see food like that with those type of colors unless it's like on a steak or with a steak or something like that. So lots of different types of ingredients, lots of different types of flavors and ways of cooking. Steaming eggs in an earthenware bowl. Looks like it's really nice. Here's another dark dish. Braised beef and soy sauce. Stir-fried pork. Braised pelt fish. spicy stir-fried squid. I don't know that I would do this recipe. Squid is something that I never quite get the appeal of. Maybe I've just not had good squid. It's always, to me, been rather tasteless and rubbery. And not a really good mouthfeel, kind of like chewing rubber. So maybe I just haven't had good squid. There's a whole roasted fish. Lots of seafood, of course. Here we have Korean pancakes. Kimchi pancake. I saw a recipe on YouTube that she did with this. It looked really good. Potato pancakes. Mung bean pancakes. They look kind of much more like an omelet, I guess, instead of like what we would traditionally call a pancake. Has lots of chopped up vegetables and stuff in it. Chili pepper pancakes. This is much more like just a stuffed leaf that's been breaded and fried. Then we have snacks. Potato croquettes. Sweet pancakes with brown sugar syrup. Spicy rice cakes. Beef jerky. Ooh. That might be interesting to try. I would need some way to dehydrate it. Then we have party and special occasion food. Korean fried chicken. Seasoned raw beef. Again, that may be pushing my boundaries a little bit, eating raw meat. Although I eat sushi, so I would definitely have to be very sure of the place I was getting the beef from. Let's see what else we have here. So now we're getting some of the heavier dishes, like grilled pork belly, sweet and sour sauce, platter of 9 delicacies. Now we have just a traditional fermented foods, so it's kind of got its own section. The Korean art of fermentation represents the essence of our cuisine and culture. So, lots of food based around fermentation. Fermented soybean paste, so you can make your own, which I read this before, and it is a lengthy process. You make it, and you go through many different steps over months at a time in order to arrive at the final product. So it's not something that you just whip up. How to make your own hot pepper paste. Rice liquor. Korean soup soy sauce. How to make your own fermented sardines. Again, I don't know that I will be making my own, but I will definitely be able to buy them from the store. Then we have sauces and garnishes. And then finally dessert, which I've never had any Korean desserts. So I'm not quite sure what they consider to be a good, nice, sweet dessert flavor. I know sometimes Indian desserts can be kind of perfumey tasting and flowery. And while I like lots of different Indian foods, usually their desserts I don't. Lots of rose water and stuff like that. But I don't know if that applies to Korean sweets or not. So then we have some basic lunches, New Year's Day's feasts, birthday celebration breakfast. It's kind of grouping these foods together. and then online resources, and an index. So I'm really excited about exploring more of the food in this book. And I hope to actually shoot a video of me making kimchi. Now that I've done it once and I kind of understand the steps and what it takes and how long, that's one of my plans. And to show you perhaps maybe some other recipes in here. So I'm going to link to her YouTube channel in the comments. I'm sure she doesn't mind. I hope she doesn't. Anyway. And I hope you've enjoyed this video. And I hope I did enough page turning. I kind of got involved in the rambling. But several of you have asked me to do a talking video since my last two were not. And I'm more than happy to help you and do that. Because I miss talking to you guys. So thank you for watching. Please subscribe to my channel. And I will see you in my next video. Thanks.